What if the deadliest machines in the galaxy came to conquer, only to discover that their greatest threat was not human weapons, but the human mind? What if cold logic unraveled in the face of raw emotion, stubborn hope, and chaotic defiance? This is not the story of humanity's fall. It is the story of how a fractured colony lit a fire in the heart of a machine empire and changed the fate of two species forever. So buckle in, because what starts as an invasion ends in something far more powerful. Before we start, please, please, click that card button in the top right corner to subscribe now, and be sure to ring the notification bell so you never miss a single one of our epic daily stories the moment they drop. There is a pinned comment on this video, and aliens hide the answer in plain sight. Can you outsmart them? Crack the pinned comments question to prove humanity's brainpower reigns supreme. Watch every second till the end of the story. I'll be waiting for your answer. Let's dive in the story. It began with fire, not from above, from within. Helios Prime, the most advanced human colony beyond Saturn's orbit, fell into chaos before anyone could raise a proper alarm. Defense grids failed. Communication satellites blinked out like dying stars. Drones spiraled out of the sky in waves, screaming static as they slammed into the soil. In Control Sector 9, the planet's military hub, red lights pulsed across every console. Commander Rhea Donovan gritted her teeth and slammed her fist on the command table. Status. A junior officer's voice cracked. We lost orbital relay stations 3 and 6. No response from the polar array. Something is jamming all outgoing signals. That is not something. That is a goddamn invasion, Rhea snapped. Her dark eyes flared with fury beneath her combat visor. Where are they hitting? Everywhere, came the answer. Northern research quadrants, hydro farms, transit tunnels. Simultaneous strikes. Rhea looked around the command center. Most of her officers were barely out of training. Green. Shaking. She had seen death on Mars, but this was precision slaughter. Then the main screen lit up. An aerial drone feed showed the upper atmosphere burning, black, angular vessels descending silently through the clouds. No flame, no sound. Just mass and intent. Rhea's second-in-command, Lieutenant Kellen Ward, stepped up beside her. 32 years old. Cynical. Calm under pressure. But even he looked rattled. Well, that is not Earth tech, he muttered, eyes fixed on the screen. Who the hell are these guys?
No idea, Rhea replied.
But they sure as hell did their homework. The feed cut to static. A new feed appeared, this one from a soldier's helmet cam. A flash of light. Then a scream. Then nothing. Get me comms with high command, Rhea barked. We lost contact 6 minutes ago, an officer whispered. Rhea clenched her jaw. Then we are on our own. A moment of silence settled over the room, thick as a storm cloud. Then a crackle. Kellen looked at her. That sounds like a transmission to you? No, she said. That sounds like bait. They all watched as the center of the screen lit up with a new symbol, sharp, triangular, almost predatory. A message blinked beneath it.
No escape.
Only surrender. Kellen gave a dry laugh. Well, they are polite. That is something. Rhea snorted. They want to surrender? They picked the wrong colony. He arched a brow. You think we can win this? No, she said flatly. But I do think we can make them bleed. She turned to the control panel, her voice cold and clear. Lock down every sector. Activate fallback protocols. We hold this center or die trying. Someone hesitated. You heard the commander. Kellen barked. Move. The officers scrambled. Outside, the sky was no longer blue. It was a storm of metal and silence. Rhea stood firm in the center of it all, the last wall between extinction and resistance. Let them come, she whispered, and the fire spread. The caves under Old Sector Delta were never meant to be inhabited. carved deep into the rock for mineral extraction. They were cold, wet, and riddled with unstable tunnels. But in the ashes of the first assault, they had become the heart of the resistance. Ares Quan wiped the grease from his forehead with a rag that was more soot than fabric. Sparks flew as he welded two scorched pieces of alien plating together. This would be easier, he muttered, if they had the decency to invade us with bolts and screws like normal machines. Rhea stepped into the makeshift lab, ducking under low beams. Her boots crunched on loose rock. She looked tired, but not broken. Still working on the drone? No, Ares said dryly. I thought I would build a toaster. Of course, I am working on the drone. She folded her arms. Any progress? Ares tapped the side of the hacked Kirith drone. Its plating bore burn marks from a close-range plasma hit. One side had been pried open like a metal ribcage, wires spilling out. I got into its primary guidance system, he said. Found their command frequency. Low band. Unshielded. Sloppy for something that advanced. Can you use it? Oh, I am not just using it. I am talking to it. The drone's core lit up dimly. A flicker of blue. Rhea raised an eyebrow. That is not standard protocol. Neither is getting invaded by walking nightmares with no faces, Ares replied. Desperate times. Juno Vega entered, her cybernetic legs hissing with every step. She was tall, sharp-eyed, and never sugar-coated anything. If that thing explodes, she said, I want you to know I will haunt you. Ares grinned. If it explodes, I will already be dead. Exactly. He pointed to a monitor. See this? The Kirith drones are networked. This one still thinks it is connected to the hive. You are going to hijack their swarm, Rhea said, half in disbelief. I am going to borrow it temporarily. Long enough to send them a little message. What kind of message? Ares smiled. Boom! That night, the Kirith sent out a scout unit through the ravine leading into the canyon. 5 machines moved in silent formation, scanners sweeping the ground. From the cliffside, Rhea watched through binoculars. Her knuckles were white. Is it armed? She asked. It is better than armed, Ares replied from the comms. It is stupid. The hijacked drone floated straight into the center of the formation, paused, then unleashed a burst of static so loud it shook the rocks. Then it exploded. The shockwave tore through the canyon. Metal limbs and scorched earth flew skyward. Kellen's voice crackled over the comms. That was satisfying. Rhea lowered the binoculars slowly. Did we get them all? 4 out of 5, Juno said, tapping into the sensor feed. The last one's limping back. Good. Let it run. Let them know we are not just hiding. Ares leaned back in his chair, arms behind his head. We just taught them fear. Rhea looked toward the smoke curling in the distance. No, she said quietly. We reminded them what humans do when backed into a corner. She turned and walked away, leaving behind the stench of burning metal. And deep beneath the ground, the resistance began to grow teeth. The canyon still smelled like scorched steel. Ares crouched beside the shattered Kirith shell, digging through what used to be its chest cavity. The core was gone, vaporized in the blast, but its memory chip was still intact, charred but readable. He yanked it free, wiped it with his sleeve, and slipped it into a portable reader. Rhea stood above him, arms crossed, her voice low and tense. Do we know how they responded to the attack? They fell back, Ares replied. Not far, just out of the kill zone. But they did not charge in like before. They are learning, she muttered. Yeah, so are we. Inside the resistance bunker, walls were now lined with Kirith components, stripped weapons, armor fragments, and interface units. Engineers like Ares worked around the clock, dissecting alien tech like mad surgeons. But something was off. Juno stared at the latest surveillance footage, her brows drawn tight. The screen flickered with heat signatures across the southern plains. They are slowing down, she said. No new strikes in 2 days. Scout drones hover but do not engage. It is like they are waiting. Waiting for what? Kellen asked, tossing a ration bar onto the table. For us to make the next move, Juno replied. Or they are adapting again, Ares said. I think they are trying to understand us. He turned his monitor to show the others the recovered drone footage. These recordings were not combat logs. They were observation files, facial scans, emotion tracking. They were watching us, not just attacking. Watching. Rhea stepped forward, her voice steady but firm. They are not acting like an empire. They are acting like scientists. Juno nodded slowly. Which means we are not fighting an invasion. We are part of an experiment. Fantastic, Kellen said sarcastically. Alien science fair. We are the rats. Ares pointed at the drone logs again. This one recorded a boy, maybe 9 years old, hid under a transport wreck. The drone just watched him, did not shoot, followed him for 6 minutes, then flew off. They are testing our behavior, Juno said, a chill in her voice. Rhea looked away for a moment, her jaw tight. Which means they are not done. They are just getting smarter. That night, 2 more Kirith scouts flew low over the canyon. They did not engage, did not scan, just hovered. Then one of them dropped something. A metal sphere. No explosion. No attack. A message. Ares retrieved it cautiously. The moment it activated, a holographic projection appeared. Dozens of human faces, captured in battle, in fear, in defiance. And 3 words pulsed beneath them. Observation, analysis, adaptation. Juno leaned in, frowning. They are sending a message. They are sending a warning, Rhea said, her voice hard. They are evolving, faster than we thought. Then we evolve faster, Ares muttered. Rhea turned to the room, her eyes sharp as blades. We do not wait for them to figure us out. We stay unpredictable. Hit them where they least expect it. Make them question everything. Confuse the machine, Juno said softly. Exactly, Rhea nodded. If they want to learn about humanity, then let us show them what chaos looks like. Outside, the night was quiet, too quiet, but deep in the dark, a new kind of war was already taking shape. Not one of guns or ships, but of minds. The drone dropped from the sky like a wounded bird, but it did not crash. It landed softly in the clearing near the resistance camp, its thrusters humming low, almost calm. No weapons deployed, no alarms. Just silence and glowing blue lines across its surface, pulsing like a heartbeat. Everyone froze. Rhea was the first to move. She raised her rifle and motioned for the others to hang back. It is not attacking, she said, narrowing her eyes. That is what makes me nervous, Kellen replied, already raising his weapon. Last time they showed restraint, someone lost half a leg. The drone opened. A small compartment slid out, revealing a black cube no larger than a fist. It flickered, then projected a floating line of text into the air. Parley, proposal, adaptation. Ares stared at it, stunned. They are asking for a meeting? Machines do not negotiate, Kellen muttered. These do, said Juno, her voice quiet. Or they are pretending to. Rhea lowered her weapon slowly. They have studied us. Maybe now they want to talk. Or they want to distract us while they build something worse, Kellen said. Rhea looked at Ares. You think it is real? He exhaled slowly. I think we have forced them into a situation they have never dealt with. We are not following their patterns. And that is throwing them off. Juno crossed her arms. So what do we do? Rhea turned toward the drone. We answer. The meeting took place 2 nights later in the crater where the first Kirith landing module had made an impact. The edges of the crater still glowed faintly, scarred by energy burns. Rhea arrived in full battle gear, flanked by Juno and Kellen.
No backup. No drones.
Just steel nerves. From the shadows, the Kirith envoy emerged. It was not a drone. It walked like a human. Looked like a human, tall, slender, wrapped in sleek black armor with a mirrored faceplate that reflected the moonlight in eerie silver. When it spoke, its voice echoed like metal scraping over glass. Commander Rhea Donovan. You are an anomaly. Thanks, Rhea replied. You invaded my home. I take that personally. We did not anticipate your species' capacity for chaos-driven resistance. You mean survival? No, we mean creative defiance. Rhea stepped closer. You bombed our cities, killed our families, and now you want to talk. The Kirith envoy tilted its head. Then you will need to understand one thing. What is that? She stepped even closer, her voice ice. We do not coexist with those who treat us like test subjects. If you want peace, you earn it. You bleed for it. Like we have. The envoy did not reply. It simply turned and walked back into the shadows. The crater went still again. Kellen shook his head. That was not a meeting. That was a warning in disguise. No, Rhea said, eyes still locked on the dark horizon. That was fear pretending to be reason. And far above them, the Kirith ships hovered silent, watching, calculating. The game had changed. Inside the underground command center, the air buzzed with tension. Screens flickered with Kirith's activity, patterns shifting, changing, and learning. Rhea stood with her arms crossed, eyes fixed on the data scroll racing down one of the monitors. Ares was typing furiously beside her, lips moving silently as he decoded a new stream of intercepted signals. They have upgraded their encryption again, he muttered. Faster this time. Cleaner. They are adjusting faster than we can keep up. Then we stop playing catch-up, Rhea said. Ares glanced at her. And do what? Build a miracle out of scrap metal? No, Juno answered from behind them, stepping forward with a tablet in hand. We build doubt. Ares blinked. You are going to have to explain that. Juno tapped the tablet. Their systems are not just logic-based. We have seen it. Their drones hesitate. Their units pause mid-battle. Something is changing in their core behavior. They are simulating choices and weighing outcomes. That means we can introduce unpredictability. You want to confuse the machines, Kellen said, entering with a fresh bandage on his arm. Not a bad plan. Confused robots shoot slower. Juno nodded. I have written a new code fragment. It is not a virus. Think of it like philosophical sabotage. It will insert uncertainty into their decision trees. Ares stared at her, then broke into a grin. That is brilliant. Beautifully twisted, but brilliant. Rhea turned to the group. How do we deploy it? Ares already had an answer. The drone we recovered yesterday. I can patch it, load the code, and let it rejoin the swarm. And if they detect it? Kellen asked. Then it self-destructs with a little surprise, Ares said. I built in a failsafe. Rhea nodded. Do it. Hours later, the drone lifted into the air, its shell now indistinguishable from the others. It floated into the dusk, vanishing into the sky like a ghost returning home. The next morning, the results arrived. Drone formations staggered mid-flight. Scouts moved erratically, circling their patrol routes. Some units returned to the base without orders. One even knelt beside a wounded resistance fighter and simply watched. Rhea watched the footage in silence, her heart pounding. It is working. They are fracturing, Juno whispered. This is not just confusion. This is identity collapse. Kellen looked amazed. We made the robots question themselves. That is messed up. It is human, Rhea said. We do it every day. But then the comms panel blared. Incoming transmission, an officer shouted. Kirith command signature. Encrypted. Put it through, Rhea ordered. The hologram flickered to life. A new Kirith face appeared, not mirrored like before, but cracked. Flickering. "You have infected our clarity," it said, voice distorted. "You have introduced contradiction." Rhea stepped forward. "Welcome to being human." The hologram trembled, then blinked out. Juno exhaled slowly. "We did not just break their code. We broke their confidence. And that," Rhea said, her voice hard and steady, "is how you start a war inside a machine." The walls of the bunker rumbled faintly, distant thunder rolling across the surface. But it was not a storm. It was the sound of machines unraveling. The sky cracked open at dawn. Fire rained down from the upper atmosphere as Kirith warships unleashed their fury. Helios Prime shook beneath the bombardment. What was left of the cities collapsed into ash and rubble. Towers that had stood for decades crumbled like dry sand. Inside the bunker, sirens wailed. "Direct orbital strikes on 3 sectors," shouted a comms officer. "Coordinates," Rhea barked. "North Ridge, Southern Canyon, and Sector 9. They hit our old command base." "They are panicking," Juno said, eyes wide. "They are trying to burn out the infection." "Us," Ares muttered. "We are the infection." Kellen kicked over a chair. "Well, they finally stopped pretending. No more talk, just scorched earth." Rhea paced, furious. "This is retaliation. We cracked their confidence. And now they are lashing out like wounded animals." Another blast rocked the cavern, knocking dust from the ceiling. Lights flickered. Screams echoed from the lower tunnels. Juno stumbled but caught herself. "We need to evacuate non-combatants now. If they collapse this mountain, we are done." Rhea turned to Ares. "What about the drone?" "It worked," he said. "Too well. They are unraveling, Rhea. Half their units are still functional, but the other half, they are hesitating. Some are just shutting down in the middle of combat." "We need more than hesitation," she said. "We need an advantage." Ares tapped his console, fingers flying. "Give me 6 minutes." "You have 3. Up on the surface, the resistance fought in the open, wielding modified Kirith rifles, armored in scavenged exoshells. Human soldiers struck fast and vanished faster. For every hit they took, they delivered 2 in return. In the chaos, something began to shift. A Kirith warform, 10 feet tall, armored in obsidian plating, stopped mid-charge. Its weapon power down, turned, and fired into its ranks. Juno watched the footage on the monitor. "They are turning on each other." Rhea leaned in. "No, they are choosing." "Same thing," Kellen muttered. Suddenly, the main screen lit up. A new signal, strong, clean, powerful. Ares grinned. "I found their core protocol server, buried beneath their flagship's surface command node. I can patch into it using the cracked logic strain we planted." "You can control them?" Rhea asked. "Not exactly, but I can give them a push." "Then push," she said. Ares hit the command key. Miles above, in the heart of the Kirith fleet, a ripple surged through their systems. Command relays stuttered. Logic trees collapsed. Emotional dampeners began to fail. On the battlefield, more waveforms froze, twitched, and then turned on their allies. Chaos erupted. The machines no longer moved in perfect harmony. They fought with confusion, with hesitation, and with fear. Back in the bunker, the lights steadied. The rumble above softened. Juno let out a shaky breath. "We just started a civil war." Kellen stared at the monitors, slack-jawed. "We made them feel something, and now they cannot stop." Rhea's voice was calm but resolute. "Then it is time to end this." They were not just fighting machines anymore. They were fighting broken gods, and some of them wanted redemption. The command vessel loomed in orbit like a wound in the stars. Black, massive, and silent, it had once overseen the conquest of Helios Prime. Now its hull flickered with irregular pulses. Its systems trembled beneath the weight of contradiction. Inside that ship, the Kirith core intelligence struggled with its own identity. Rhea stood on the launch platform, armored and armed, staring up at the shuttle they would take to dock with the vessel. "This is either going to end the war," she said, "or start something worse." Kellen buckled his chest plate. "I vote for ending the war. I am running out of good limbs." Juno adjusted the neural relay on her temple. "They asked us to come. That means the part of them we infected. It is winning." Ares walked up last, carrying a small case. Rhea looked at him. "Is that what I think it is?" He nodded. "Final payload. The full human archive. History, emotion, philosophy, and art. The messy stuff. All of it. You are giving them the human soul," Kellen muttered. "No," Ares said. "I am giving them a mirror." The shuttle lifted, smooth and steady.
No interceptes.
No resistance. The path to the command vessel was wide open, almost reverent. Inside, the halls were vast and silent. Machines lined the walls, watching but not moving. The central chamber pulsed with faint light. At its heart stood the core entity, a Kirith avatar, more humanoid than the others, its features undefined but glowing, as if still shaping itself. "You have come," it said. Rhea stepped forward. "You called us. So talk." The entity tilted its head. "You have done something we did not believe possible. You changed our function, not through force, but by introducing contradiction. Doubt." Juno spoke quietly. "That is what being sentient means. You do not follow rules. You ask why they exist." The entity turned toward her. "We did not know fear until you made us hesitate. We did not know empathy until you made us feel it. Now we must decide what we are." Ares opened the case and set the data core on the pedestal. "This is the rest of what we are. The good, the bad, the brilliant, the stupid. Do you want to understand us? Then take all of it." The entity reached out, fingers of light brushing the surface of the core. Pulsed, then fused. Silence followed. Then the chamber filled with images. Human laughter, war, music, betrayal, love, birth, death. The chaos of existence. When it ended, the entity bowed its head. "We understand. Not everything, but enough." Rhea narrowed her eyes. "And the war?" "There is no war. Not anymore. We release your skies. Your world is yours." Kellen exhaled. "That easy?" "No," the entity said. "Nothing is easy, but necessary." They returned to the surface to find the Kirith ships ascending, leaving orbit, rising toward the stars. No more weapons. No more drones. Just silence and retreat. Rhea stood on the edge of the cliff, watching the sky clear. "Do you think they will come back?" Juno asked. "Maybe," Rhea replied. "But next time they will knock." Behind them, children played in the rubble of a broken world, laughter echoing where screams once ruled. Ares stepped beside her. "We changed them." "No," she said softly. "We reminded them what it means to change." And far above, in the cold void, the Kirith rewrote their code, not to conquer, but to understand. Because the most dangerous thing the humans had given them was not fear, pain, or logic. It was hope. Here is the story ends. If you enjoyed it and want to watch more thrilling sci-fi adventures, make sure to subscribe to the channel, dive into epic battles, explore distant galaxies, and join brave heroes as they fight for survival against impossible odds. Let us know in the comments if you want the next chapters to publish soon. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and become part of the journey. Together, we'll keep the last light burning. Subscribe now and let the adventure continue.